I'm going to put some up at the end of the video to no, I'm not going to do that. Should I do that? Nah. Yeah, no. Hey, this is Glendon with Making Money with Storage and Auctions. Title of this video, information is more important than money. I know for me you're going, no, money is the most important thing. No, information will get you money. The lack of information will make sure you lose money. In the storage auction space, there's a lot of information on how to do it. How do you get into this space? What's good information? What's not? And many people kind of want something significant to bite their teeth into before they make a commitment to buy something, a book from me or someone else. But the whole point is, one of the biggest things you're missing is the information that I'm talking about often has nothing to do with what's in the storage unit. Yes, you heard me correctly. What I'm talking about has nothing to do with what's in the storage unit, because there's a certain level of information that if you know about certain things, you know about the pricing of certain items, yes, that's going to help you significantly. But in this current marketplace of storage auctions, you have to know what's good, where to go, what's to buy. Because one of the things that I did in my early days, because there was a heavy hitter in every corner. In Cobb County, there was a group. In the South Side, there was a group. And everywhere you went, there were whales, as they say now. Whales, heavy hitters, the big cheese, the big kahunas. And tries you weren't going to outspend them. In the beginning, I wasn't able to outspend them. So how could I get a piece of the action? And I had to outthink them. And I had to put together my own process, because you go to this auction. One thing that I noticed in the beginning, and it's starting to happen now, is an auction trail would start like this. Usually the first location, a lot of people sometimes would miss the first location. Then, bam, second location, everybody's there. And as people bought units, they would start to drop off. And then you get to the last location, and there wouldn't be that many people. So by quantitative analysis, which many people don't do because they go out, they see the crowds, they get really frustrated, and they're not paying attention to the most valuable information that's right there in front of them. Because the thing is, you have to participate. You have to get out there to get this information. You're not going to get it sitting at home going, well, I'm thinking. No, you have to play. You have to suit up. You have to get dirty. So when I noticed that, and I came home and I took, I had data, I had notes, I said, okay. So I went ahead and created my storage auction Excel spreadsheet. And also, if you're in this business, you need to know where every auction is happening in your part of town. In your city, every auction, whether you plan on going or not, you need to know about it. So I had my sheet, taking that information. I made sure that I made that first auction regardless. If I had to get up at 4:30, I had to get up at 5, I was going to be at that first auction, because statistically, based on my information, which I gathered from going to the auctions, said that was the time to be there. All right, I got a unit on Old Alabama up in Woodstock. It was a Jerry Doan auction, and I was the first one there. Then 2 other people showed up. It was first auction on the day, and it was advertised. It was one room. People didn't show up. Door goes up, freaking 10 by 30. It's me and 2 newbies. And inside I went, and I got the unit. Long story short, I got the unit, $500. Did close to $8,000 off that unit. That unit essentially made the week. Later on that day, I still, I got a unit, I got it really cheap. Later on that day, I went out, saw stuff going on, went to the last property, showed up. There was more people, but tapped out, tired, mentally fatigued, and I scooped up 3 more units on the low. I was out there all day. Because see, this is the thing. This is what I'm talking about. Information is more important than that bullshit you're getting. You're not going to learn a great deal of this business sitting in front of your computer screen. It's not going to happen. Because just like my storage auction environment here was different than what yours may be, but you're not going to know it until you go out there and invest some time. You're not going to learn this going to one auction. You're not going to learn it going to two. You're going to start to get this stuff after 1, 2, 3, 4 months. Now, that's a problem since so many people drop out after the first month. So, for those of you who are really looking at this as a long-term source of income, take your time, get out there, get your reps, make sure that you're paying attention to this stuff, because what you see at the auction, what happens there is going to predicate how you should behave. And you can't get that information if you're not going to auctions. And a lot of people are like, I've heard this, like, hey, I went out there 5 times, and I'm like, that shit ain't for me. And then I went out there, 2 times. I got people who, they're struggling, they're going through it because there's so many people coming out with crazy freaking expectations. But I also got a group of people who are making money currently with the shows on, with all this stuff on. They're making money because they made a commitment to the business. They actually went out there and they did these things. So what I'm telling you is, if you are, I'm going back to the old mode. If you're a faint of heart, you're lazy, you lack initiative, this ain't the business for you. Essentially, really, there is no business for you. That's the core thing. There is no business for you. None. Because right now, there's more competition. There's more people out there doing stuff. So you're really going to have to be smarter than the average bear or work harder than the average bear to be successful in anything you do. But that's the deal with the information that's more important than money. Because by statistical analysis, by paying attention to the conditions, by going to the auctions, and sometimes I went out to auctions 2 weeks, didn't buy none, but I was mentally getting currency. I was getting information. And I mean, taking notes, looking at guys who was like, okay, this guy, he's got a tell. That's another thing. Once you get out there and you see the crowd, now with people who come and go, it's going to be kind of challenging. But once again, that's another form of information. Because someone told me something in a conversation, and that's okay. And then a week later, I said, all right, you realize what you told me. You said in your area that when you go out to auctions, you never see the same people twice. And he's like, yeah. And a few months ago, you were seeing people and you would see them 3 or 4 times, but now they're coming and going. And you also said that, you're starting to get rooms again. Yet you're still discouraged. But because when you don't track information, it's hard to quantify because it's all up in your mind and it's jarred. But you have to quantify information. And to quantify it, you have to track it. You have to write it down. You have to have some numbers, something. Because I used to track people. I used to track their buying habits. I used to track how often they came to auctions. I used to track when they would disappear. There were some people that would just disappear for a month or so. Come to find out some were taking vacations. Come to find out that something happened. And also, once again, when you track people's buying habits, and this is just strictly for the professionals, this is for the folks who are really going to be out there. And if you're in any industry, you need to know what your competition is doing. You should know. You have to know, because there's two battles that you're going to have to fight when you have your own business. One, you got to kick your own ass. You need to be in competition with yourself to do better than you did the month before, better than the year before. So that's one form of competition. The other competition is you need to know what those other mofos are doing, because if you have your business in a vacuum, you could be taken out of business by an event or a trend, but because you're not paying attention to conditions, you're just swept off the map. See it all the time because people are like, hey, we're the best, we're first. No, you have to be consistent and diligent with the gathering and analyzation of data. You have to do it for anything you do, anything. I'm a metric fool, but those little tips right there enable me to go from having an operating budget of $1,300 and some bucks. That's what I started with from that garage sale. And as they say in the hood, parlay that up to an operating budget at one time of $25,000, which rarely I ever spent the whole nut, because you gotta learn how to. And this is what's with information. You've got to design and formulate your business, because I get this all the time. It's like, tell me how much you paid in insurance, and none of that stuff's going to apply to you because, one, you're in a different state. And this is a little tip. When you get commercial insurance, they're going to ask you all these questions, how long you've been in business, and they're going to customize a quote for you, where you are, your business, what you have, your liabilities, your assets, what you're trying to protect. You know, if I say like, yeah, you know, my liability insurance was $1,500 a month, that's not going to help you. It's not going to help you. One, it was a different era, it was a different company, and there were certain things I had that you don't have. You may have certain things I didn't have. So the thing is, rid yourself of cookie cutter mentality. You know, I feel that my book is a strong beginning point. You know, it's a point that you can take stuff and also go out there and actually be well informed what you're dealing with. Then start to build your business where you are, because from city to city, state to state, there's little nuances that, you know, things are different. Like in the city of DC, you don't get washer and dryers. It's very rare. In Georgia, I got those things every week or every other week. You know, sometimes I would buy 5 units and all 5 units have a washer and dryer. That's not going to happen in New York. You know, you're out in California, you got a chance to get a lot of movie memorabilia from the guys who actually created the movies, or stills or prints. Geographic. I mean, so, you know, if you're in Boston, if you're above, like, say, Virginia, you know, before the Civil War, go up now, maybe higher than DC, Boston, New England, you have a chance to come across real antiques more frequently than in Georgia, because all this shit down here was burned up. So that's the thing. You got to design your business where you are, but it takes work, it takes analysis, and it takes getting out there and get it started. That's the thing. Because I've had people, because, you know, I've been to this massive email thing, and I've got people that I'm recognizing the name because they've asked me these questions, and there's some I've talked to in this year or two of watching me, and they have not bought one unit. Not one. You're never going to buy a unit. Look, enjoy the shows, watch TV, have fun, but you're never going to buy a unit. I recommend that you go over to the Redneck Pickers channel and learn everything you can from him about picking. Go there. Do that, because you're not going to be in the storage auction business, because yes, there's a high level of risk, but there's a high level of reward. Because I'm going to say this. I don't know of any picker that's ever bought one buy and made 62 grand like I did. That came from storage auctions. I've done picking. I've been out there. Actually, I'm going to do a video on how I used to do the picking. Maybe it'll help you, maybe it's not. But definitely check out the Redneck Pickers channel. Get out there and just get all the picking information that you can, because that may give you the operating capital to move forward into the storage auction business. All right, this is Glendon, making money with storage unit auctions.